And welcome back to the LMS Show. Give yourself a big hand. Now this young lady told me, she said, you know, I want to come on your show. Can you tell me that?
Okay, we'll go with that.
Okay. All right. We'll read this, and I'm going to give a big shout out here. Audrey D. Washington, founder, CEO of Fairness, the financial coaching, is a finance coach and educator. She is passionate about helping her clients achieve their financial goals and dreams and to be financially fit. She is a certified homeowner counselor, house buyer educator, and foreclosure counselor. She has a master's degree in leadership and strategy management from Manhattanville College and a bachelor's in economics from Montclair State University. She's an adjunct professor teaching personal financial management. That's what you're really teaching in colleges. You're teaching the lower grades too, where people be spending their money. Audrey is a life member of the National Council of Negro Women. Oh, good organization. I love the organization. I love that. I remember I helped Miss Hike bring some stuff, you know, bring the cameras and say, you know, she was on a trip, you know, came back from trip. She enjoyed baking, reading, traveling, and spending time with family and relaxing on the beach. Ladies and gentlemen, without no further ado, and the photograph is by one of your relatives, right? Let's give it up for Audrey D. Washington. Give it up for Audrey. Now, that's kind of weak because this lady gonna talk about how to keep your money in your pocket. And you got to spend wisely. Ms. Washington, how you doing?
I am wonderful, Mr. Matthews. Thank you for having me, and I'm just happy to be on your show and here at Sister's Bookstore again.
Yes. Transform your money mindset. What's this book about?
What is the book about? Well, the concept of the book was that I had a career helping people buy their first home. So that's when I started my financial coaching. And one of the things that I realized was that we were giving the people the technical information, excuse me, and some were moving forward to buy the house and some weren't. And they weren't, the ones that weren't making any progress, right? So they were still kind of at the same place that they were. And so I started to realize that the technical information is important, but you also have to help people to change their thinking, or what I like to call money mindset, so that they can then achieve their financial goals. So that's really what the concept of the book is about, and the book walks you through like 10 chapters of information to try to help you to shift your thinking so that you can move forward. Like I said, initially I work with people who are buying their first home, but this is about whatever financial goal you have, how you can move yourself forward, but you do need to change your thinking in order to do that.
That's important, right?
Yeah, you have to change your thinking. You know, it's one of the things I talk about in the book, and I think this is something that athletes really get, right? So athletes understand that a lot of it is your mind that's going to help to push you to the next level, right? So many people have good athletic abilities, but what I say in the book, the ones that actually shift to have exceptional athletic careers are the ones that actually change their thinking in addition to their training. So that's something that, you know, I talk about in the book as well.
You know, I was looking through this book. What a book, what a book, what a book, what a book, what a book. Things start from the home. Training starts from home. What was how your parents were with money?
Well, you know, I think, you know, I talk about, the first chapter of the book talks about childhood money story. And we all have one. So, you know, what happens in your childhood around many things, but including money, kind of sets the tone for where you'll be as an adult. And so in my home, one of the things I talk about is, I had my mom and dad in the home, and we had a house and had 2 cars, but for some reason I still felt in all of that, even though I never saw, bills were paid and things like that. I remember my dad sitting down and pulling out the checkbook and writing out the bills and things like that. But for some reason, I still thought that money wasn't, I didn't think we had a lot of money. And so because of that, it really kind of made me not ask for things that I wanted growing up. And still, even as an adult, it's hard for me to navigate. Like, I'll, make sure my bills are paid and things like that. But when it comes to like just things that I want, I kind of hesitate on that. And you really need to balance it.
Well, that's true, because, you all right when it comes around, you do for everybody else without earning life. But when it comes around to yourself, sometimes, I don't want to use this expression, you be kind of stingy with yourself.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. They sit here and say, well, you should get this, Then I say, well, how about all the time, you don't want to bring up saying, well, when you were in a jam, you need a couple of bucks. You ain't talk about it then, right?
Right, yeah. So you definitely do need to have a balance in how you spend your money. So that's one of the things that the book does talk about. And I think the next thing, the biggest thing that I also talk about, one of the chapters is dedicated to my great-grandmother. Her name was Grace Sumter.
Yes, interesting lady. Yeah, tell us about it.
And so one of the things that was about my great-grandmother, she had this saying, if you make $1, save a dime. Right? So she had that concept. And so my grandmother had an interesting story. She went to school maybe, I think, 1st or 2nd grade. Then she got sick and never went back to school. So really the only thing she could do was write her name. She couldn't read. She couldn't write anything beyond, her signature. But she had that concept, and she actually always had money. Right? And she never made a lot of money. She was from St. Helena Island, South Carolina, and she, never made a lot of money. She worked, at the time the shrimping industry was big down there. Yeah. She came up to Connecticut, did a lot of domestic work. So she never made a lot of money, but she understood the concept of saving. And I think that's
saving is important, right?
Right. That's like
I'm not hoarding money, but saving.
Saving is a huge foundation. If you can get that as a foundation, and that's one of the things I talk to my students about as well. Get that as a foundation. And sometimes people hesitate to save because they feel like I have to save big numbers, right? I have to save $100, $200. But really, it's the consistent habit of it, but save something. Right? Yeah. So that's really what you want to emphasize, and that's a strong financial foundation. If you can get that early, you'll actually be on your way.
Even like a penny, sometimes some people bend over to pick a penny, but you say, oh, just a penny. But you get another penny, and another, this stuff it's like a steamroller stuff. Like sometimes you have coins, and well, some of the bank, one no bank doesn't do it anymore, but it adds up.
Right. It definitely adds up. And I think, if you think about going back to your youth, many people had this concept of the piggy bank, right? Yeah. And so people did kind of understand at least that basic foundation. So, if somebody gave you money, they would say, put that in your bank, put that in your bank. So there was that concept of it, but somewhere along the line, we've kind of lost that. And so we're not saving as much.
I remember when I was going to school, they used to have the bank at that time work with the school, yes. And they used to have a savings bank thing, and used to put money, every week or something, right. Later on when needed it. It sure add up after a while.
It does, yeah. And I think there are some school districts and some cities that are starting that concept where they're actually partnering banks with like kindergartners to really have the concept of when they graduate and get ready to go to college, they have something saved. So yeah, definitely if we can come back to that and start young. I think sometimes with children, parents typically want to give their kids more than what they have, right? Yeah. And so I think sometimes there's a disconnect though that you still have to teach them about, how to save. Sometimes you don't need to spend anything, so like I tell, when I do talks, I say, when you have a child, you have a conversation before they leave the house. Okay, you got $2 to spend, right? So sometimes they'll spend $2. Sometimes they shouldn't spend anything. So just like adults, every time we go out, we don't need to spend money.
No, that's
right?
True. That's
so
true.
You want to start to keep them in that habit.
Because I remember I was working, let's go to work. Now sometimes I said, well, maybe pay for me to go to work because if I took a day off from work, I'd be spending money out the street like there's no tomorrow.
Sure.
You know, running up and down the street, up and down the street. So if I was on the plantation, I didn't have to spend that much money. I mean, they got me there.
Right. Yeah. So it kind of like put some structure into that. Yeah. And I think, I guess the other thing that I also talk about in the book, and it's actually towards the end, but it's really important. And before I shift to that, let me also say one of the things that you want to think about with your money is financial legacy. What is your financial legacy going to be? And you want to think out, your children, even your grandchildren, or even if you don't have children of your own, you think about children that are in, your circle. And we have to think about financial legacy. If we just, keep enough for ourselves and we don't think about how we can, leave something to the next generation or generations, we have to start to think about that in a bigger way. So one of the things that I talk about in terms of financial legacy, and knowing my family, we've had a family scholarship fund for the last 20 years.
Oh, okay.
And so this year we celebrated our 20th year. And so we give out scholarships, twice a year to the youth in our family. So that's like something that a family can pull together. So you want to think about as a family what your financial legacy is, and as well individually what your financial legacy is.
That's also too, maybe we mentioned on another show, I think the most important thing too is insurance.
Right.
Because don't give me funds and all that kind of stuff. Because people say, "Oh, I don't know what to do." Or, what were you doing? What were you doing before?
Right. Well, it's all a part of your financial plan. And then the last thing I would say, and the book talks about it, is what I call share the knowledge. And I'm big on sharing the knowledge.
They sue themselves.
Yes.
They don't want to share the knowledge.
You have to share the knowledge. And I think with money and finance, it can be a sticky subject, right? Kind of right up there with politics and religion.
Yes.
People kind of put it in that category. So because of that, we operate in a space of not enough information or the wrong information.
Yes.
And so we have to start to make money and finance part of our social conversation. So with our family and friends, we have to figure out ways where we can share the information. So if you get information, share it with someone. So this kind of forum is great because we're sharing information about money and finance. And we have to do that more with our children, even as adults, and sometimes with adults, we make some assumptions that people know have the information, or we're embarrassed to say we don't. We have to start to make it, just like we talk about the, restaurant where we ate some good food. Yeah. We got to start talking about money and finance.
I think that's what we're doing with LMS. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that. I think it's important, and maybe I got hooked on these financials, but then again, these financials make sense too. Because you don't want to be left out there. And also too, I remember they had this young guy, well, I won't name the sneaker company because they already had somebody come advertise a sneaker company. That's another story. So, but they were saying, these kids, and they were teenagers, they said, "Oh, Johnny, you got, look, we got these fancy sneakers." And he said, "Yeah, I'm glad to keep getting those sneakers because I got a share in that company."
Yeah.
That means, we had to learn, people that we patronize, these companies, or, these places. I think you got to learn how to buy a share. Just one share, that's all. You don't need a whole bunch of shares. People say, well, one share don't mean nothing. It makes a big difference. They had to vote on something, and you can sway it your way, and they know that somebody, not just as a consumer.
Right, absolutely. And that's a good way to start out with your children.
Yeah, because like they have a particular, have a soft drink or favorite fast food place or whatever. I believe in that.
Mm-hmm. Good way to get them started.
And then also a mutual fund too, right?
You can start, You can start with mutual fund.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of companies in there.
Right. Yeah. So you can do that. I don't actually do investment. I don't do investments.
No.
But mutual funds are a good way to start. Even honestly, simple. The old school savings bonds. My parents used to do that with my nephews. Birthday, Christmas. They got a savings bond.
They still got savings bonds.
They still have savings bonds. And it's funny, when they were young, getting the savings bond, they kind of just tossed it aside. So my mom would always put, let's say, $5 in the cart and then the information about the bond.
Yeah.
But when they got ready to go to college,
yeah,
they were happy about those savings bonds because they were able to use them to help, you know, with college. But, you know, again, they didn't understand it when they were young and what it meant. But when they got older, they realized that it had value, and they were happy that my parents did that consistently. So it's something to think about as well.
I would love to thank you very much for coming back, coming on the LMS Show, and also too, we will, God willing, in the near future, we'll invite it back.
Okay.
Because I want, we want to ask. I think it's important about, some of my relatives and my sons to see something. They said, "Oh, well, you worship money and this." They ain't worshiping money. Yeah, when you're broke, you know what? Need some money? They come to me.
That's right.
You worshiping. It's not worship. It's nice. The lack of it is the root of all evil. And also too, if you can have all the money in the world, but you don't have, if you don't budget your money, it's never a money problem. It's a budget problem.
Absolutely.
On that note, I would like to thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
What does that mean again, everybody?
Transform your money mindset.
And by who?
Financial fitness.
And by who?
Audrey Washington, Fiercely Financial Coach.
And you teachers in the schools too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think some of the colleges should be having that. How to budget your money and everything.
Well, more of them are going to that, and even some of the lower grades.
I think that's important. So
finance, yes.
Give it up for Audrey D. Washington, and we'll see you on LMS. And we'll be back. And welcome to the LMS Show. Oh my goodness, give yourselves a big hand. We're up here at Sisters Bookstore. Going back some years, I always remember a particular. But first of all, let's be Otis. Give Otis Walls a big hand, everybody. 1963, Otis. That was a year, right?
Yes.
We had, unfortunately, the loss of John F. Kennedy.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And I think of 63, I always remember that, though.
Yeah, I was working downtown, Belleville Street.
Yeah.
When it happened, in a closed company.
Yeah.
At the time when it happened.
Yeah. 1963. Yes. Also, to 63, we had some hit records on the air too, making the airways. Just One Look by Doris Troy. That's all it took. Just one look. I believe in 63 too was Another Saturday Night by Sam Cooke, right?
Yeah.
And Hey Paula, I wanna marry you.
Hey
Paula, I wanna marry you. Hey Paul, what else was I to do? I waited so long to do. They don't make songs like that. I don't want to get into that. and Daily Grace, but we got the duets. That's why I'm leaving it up to you. You decide what you're gonna do. But do you want my love? Or are we through?
You're gonna have to record that.
We are. And we had one of my favorite songs in '63. I bought that record on that record. I wore that record out. Sugar Shack. There's a crazy little shack beyond the track. Everybody calls it the Sugar Shack. Well, just a coffee house is made out of wood. Espresso coffee tastes mighty good. That's the reason why I got to go up to that sugar shack. The reason why he went up there, because what, Otis? Because there was a cute little girlie. She was working there. They don't make them like that. You remember the words, and that's going back over 50 years.
You have the songs like them, like Major Lash,
Monkey Time, yeah. Are you ready? I still want Dick Clark doing that. Are you ready?
Me too.
And he said to me, Dick Clark said, "That's your real name?" He said, "Yeah, that's his real name."
You know, one of the favorite songs that I always liked is what that beautiful harmony.
Yeah.
How they will come.
Ruby and Romantics.
Definitely. I love them. That was the sound.
And I'm gonna tell you what the professor said. How we get to this with some of the music thing. Some of the music is nice. Some of the songs I hear on the radio, you can't buy. You can't go to a local record store. You gotta download it now. Ain't that something?
Yeah, download.
Yeah, download all that stuff. But one of my favorites in 1963, I still sing the song today. In fact, I was taking a bath. I was singing the song. Sally Go Round the Roses. Tell us about Louise. How'd you meet Louise?
Well, I met Louise quite a bit to a young man I used to sing with, Donald. We used to have a group called Valentine's in 1965.
Okay.
And Donald, we started recording right out of East New York.
Okay.
And then I met Louise right after that through Donald. Okay. Donald and I were just singing together in 1965, you know. So and everybody said they used to get us mixed up with the Valentines. But the Valentines came out early during that time. And when I met her, she had this golden voice, and she said, "Oh, I made this record back in 1954. I said, that's like rocking chairs.
Yeah.
And I said, Louise, and then like you say, oh yeah. And I didn't know that she was doing, and then she told me, well, you know, I was in the other record I made too, Sally Go Round the Roses.
How'd you, when the first time you heard that song, what was your reaction to that song?
That's reminded me of them girls down there on the playground. They'd be playing Sally Go Round the Roses. I'd be watching them. And those cans slip.
Yeah.
Remember those dresses? The patent leather.
Okay.
The socks rolled down.
Yeah. Roses don't tell your secret, right?
That's right.
Sally, don't you go downtown. Sally, don't you go downtown. Saddest thing in the whole wide world. What, Cassandra? To see your baby with another girl, right? You know, I've seen this Cassandra over there. See your baby with another girl. And he went on and on. But you know, that was a big hit. It went as far as number 2 on the charts in the country. Oh my goodness. And look at all the girl groups who were out there at that time too. I mean, they were that record, you know.
The Dixie Cups.
The Dixie Cups, yeah. I mean, they were really, they were kicking butt out there.
And the Marvelettes.
And the Marvelettes about that time too, yeah. In one moment, we're going to introduce to you the young lady who made that hit record, right?
That's right, yeah.
How many members was in the group, Louise? Could you say that?
It was 4 girls and the pianist was Rich, a boy.
And that's what, there was a piano and that was it?
Yeah. Oh, you mean in
So Sally Go Round the Roses.
Oh no, it was just 3 of us. 3 girls.
That's it? Interesting. But it had a nice little sound though.
Oh yeah, it was a style of his own. It was nothing like it.
In a few minutes, us men going to depart from here, and the ladies are going to take over, and with Ty Brown's going to interview Louise from the J-Lets and take it down.
Well, we're here at Sisters Uptown Bookstore on the Lenny Matthews Show. We have our wonderful guest, Miss Louise Murray. And she's here to talk about her long, illustrious career. She's been singing for the past several years, probably past 30 to 40 years. 56 years to be exact. She's been singing for the past 56 years. And she's had her songs featured on several different major motion movies, and we would like to talk to her about her singing career. So, Miss Murray, how did you get started in singing?
First of all, I started at the Apollo when I was 8, and I won, and I kept going back and forth there, and I kept winning. And then when I turned 13, my girlfriend told me about this group that was being organized. So I said, she said, why don't you go and try out? And I did. And it was the Hearts. The name of the group was the Hearts. And when they heard me, they kept me in the group. And that record went to number 1 or 2, I don't know, but it's in the movie Raging Bull.
Raging Bull. Okay. Great, great. And so what other songs have we?
Okay, then after that, I started with the group the J&S. Those were consisted of 3 girls, 3 ladies. And that became a hit record.
What was the hit record?
Shouting Around the Roses.
Okay.
And it was pretty big. And that was in Colors and then the Sopranos.
Okay, so it was in 2 movies, Colors and Sopranos. Okay, so that's a big hit for you guys. Good, good. So did you do any traveling or promotion with it here in the U.S.?
Yeah, well, I didn't do much traveling at that time. I'm doing more traveling now today than any.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So now today I'm with the Supergirls. Those are girls that all had hit records, 5 of us. We all had a hit record. So we formed a group. So now we have a group called Supergirls.
What other groups were they part of?
One girl was in the Exciters, the Cookies, Rock and Rod and the Delrons, and the Raindrops.
Excellent. So you sing what level? Are you soprano, alto?
Well, I have 6 octaves, 6 drums.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. Great, great. So what are your new projects that you're coming up with
Well,
now?
right now with a guys group, Willie Winfield and the Hawthorne, they had quite a lot of hits. So I've been with them about 2 years now.
Oh, okay. So you're with Louise?
Winfield
Okay,
and the
Winfield.
Hawthorne.
Okay. And you're also
And
with the
not all the girls.
You're very busy.
Yeah, I stay busy.
Okay. Any other projects that are coming up in terms of movies? Or?
No movies, other shows, but I have many shows.
Okay. Where's your next show taking
And
place?
Walker's at 4, upstate.
Okay.
That's the next one.
Are you performing with which group?
With the girls, Supergirls, this one. And then I'll be at Count Basie's again with Louie. I'll be at a lot of travel.
You said Camp Basie's. Where?
Count Basie's is in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
We just left the Beacon Theater, 72nd Street. We just left there.
So you're a Harlem native, right?
Oh, yes, I was been there all my life.
So how has living in Harlem, how has that influenced your music?
Well, the people like it, you know, but they don't come to the shows like the other people.
Okay.
The other ones crowded there.
That's okay, because you're definitely a multi-talented person, so that's good. That's good. So you performed at the Apollo, you're still doing projects over here.